So then we had the Atlanta street fight with Cody Rhodes and Andrade El Idolo. And there's a lot that happened here. First off, Arn Anderson fell off the stage. Looked like he almost killed himself.
Oh, man, that was
and,
scary.
Jose, who was supposed to attack him, actually, you see in the background,
helped him up.
he helps him out. And then once he helps him out, he starts beating on him because that was the spot. So apparently Arn's all right, I hope. I mean, he was doing all the spots and everything like that. So
Yeah, but he's a pro. You know, like let's just say he was really hurt. He's still going to do those spots.
Sure, but I mean, he was on his feet and he was moving around, so
yeah.
I mean, he didn't break his leg or anything like that.
No. He wouldn't have broken his leg or broken his. And hopefully not broken his back or anything. I mean, I was told after the show that everyone's okay, which, I mean, so.
I think that would be relative.
I think it's on a curve. I think they're all like okay compared to Diego Sanchez, but I don't know that they're all okay on like a normal human being term. But you know, seeing what Cody went through and everything like that. But yeah, Arn took a bad looking fall. I guess John Silver nearly fell in that corner too. And
they need to get rid of that corner.
And Danielson too.
So the big spot, I mean, Cody was booed. He was also cheered at points, kind of depending on what was going on.
So what I was told from people who were there that it was, and this is fans that were in the building, not, you know, is that, and you could sort of tell there's like one spot where Cody's being booed really loud, and then you look at the audience and you see everyone, not everyone, but you see tons of people standing up cheering for him. And so it was basically 70% pro, but the 30%, you know, Tony Schiavone even said that. And like sometimes when they say that, it's bullshit. And but the thing is, if you have 30% booing, it's going to drown out 70% cheering, unless the 70% you're just going to, you know, I mean, it will in every case. So, you know, he did have more cheers than boos. It was his hometown, but there were times where the booing was very noticeable, and then other times he was cheered. But from what I was told, like it was basically a 70-30 split, but the noise came at different points, and like when people, you know, when he did stuff that the people wanted, were going to cheered him, then it sounded like he was being cheered, and then the same people, you know, like that booed, you know, other times could drown out the cheers when they got into booing him. There was also, it was interesting because it was in this match, but no other match. There were some, you know, Cornette fans in the front row with their signs. And the one thing was very noticeable because, you know, AEW, you really don't have the people who, you know, whatever, go and, I mean, like, you definitely have those people, but they're usually not in the front row of an AEW show as far as people who are, you know, whatever, trying to do their signs and, you know, whatever. The people who chant like CM Punk at a WWE show, for example. But there were, you know, it was really only two guys, but AEW does not confiscate signs because they were there and, you know, nobody took their signs and nobody accosted them or anything. And, you know, there were a couple on Cody. It was the same guys. They would have the anti-Cody and the anti-AEW and the Outlaw Mud Show and forgot the other one. But they, you know, they were doing that, and I don't know if they were like wanting to, you know, well, they were Cornette fans, you know. So, but I don't know if they were like thinking that they were going to get, you know, confiscated, because that's what would happen if it was a WWE show and that same, you know, you're sitting there. But, you know, I mean, they let them do it, and it's fine. And you know, but it was interesting only because it was Atlanta, which is, you know, Cody's hometown. But there's he's going to be booed everywhere, and it's going to be like when they're in next week's UBS Arena. So he'll get booed pretty heavily there. I do think it's interesting if MJF gets any cheers, because he is a Long Island guy and they are on Long Island. In fact, it's right near where he you know, I don't think it's that far from Plainview to Belmont. So, you know, and usually the big stars, if they're heels, go into a town. I mean, he was basically doing a promo. You know, I mean, it was sarcastic and everything, you know, where, you know, he's going to be the hometown hero and everything like that. But, I'm sure whether they cheer him or boo him, it's pretty much immaterial. But it'll be interesting next week. I was kind of curious, like how he would be taken.
Well, this whole match was designed to get Cody over. The fans wanted tables, and so they saved it for the very end, and Cody got to get the table out. And they're fighting up on the top rope. He's going for this big superplex, and they're fighting, and all of a sudden somebody comes out of the crowd, and they pull their hood off, and it's Brandy. And she definitely got booed, and she starts pouring this lighter fluid all over the table, and then she lights it on fire, and as soon as she lit it on fire, all of a sudden, the Rhodes were the biggest baby faces in all of Atlanta, and Cody and Andrade are rushing to get this reverse superplex in because they don't want the fire to go out, and they do it, and Cody lands right on the table, and from the beginning of the match, he had this stuff all over his back, this basically fire retardant, whatever. And the announcers even pointed out, so I don't know if they didn't smarten up the announcers or what, but they absolutely probably should not have called attention to it, because once they did, you just couldn't stop looking at it. But that's what it was, and I guess it worked to a degree. But, I mean, Cody, he's on fire. He covers Andrade. There's this big... there's a fist-sized thing of fire on Andrade's chest during the cover, and Andrade's trying to wipe this off his chest as Cody's pinning him.
And Andrade was also trying to wipe the fire off of Cody as he was getting pinned.
And so he pins him, and then Cody celebrates. The fans are going nuts, and he's practically crying because he's getting this babyface reaction. His back has got, there's burns on his back. This was madness. Madness.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know it's the dude's hometown. I know he wanted to get cheered.
He wanted to do something.
Dude.
He wanted to do something.
What's next after fire?
To top the moonsault off of the cage that he did the last time he was in Atlanta. But yeah, this was scary.
But I respect the guy for loving the fans enough to do something like this. But you can love the fans and not light yourself on fire. I love the fans as well, but I'm not lighting myself on fire doing this show.
Yeah.
Never.
I just don't like using props that you can't control, and I'm sure that people were right there, and if something bad would have happened, they would have sprayed them and everything.
Yeah, but it's fire, dude. By the time something bad has happened, you're badly burnt.
No, I know. No, I'm not a fan of fire. It happens. I'm not a fan of those things because I'm not really a big fan of broken glass. I know people do it constantly now. But I just don't like the stuff that when you're doing props that you can't control. The props don't always know how to work. Table's a table. You can get hurt doing a table for sure. You never know exactly how it's going to break. But, Matt Tremont just...
That guy was in the hospital for a while.
And he was in the hospital for a while. I know. It's I'm just, I'm not a fan of using fire to that extent as a prop. I don't even like it to any extent, honestly. Any kind of stuff like that. It's not my thing, but he was looking for something. He got it. He wanted a big moment. He wanted something memorable. Wanted something that people are going to talk about, to get himself over as a babyface, they're still going to boo him though. It's like the thing that he knows it and everyone knows it is it's become the cool thing when you go to AEW to boo Cody. It's just the thing. And, if they turn him heel, they're going to cheer him for that same reason. So it's kind of a fucked situation, but that was it. Yeah. One of the guys, turn Cody, please turn Cody. It's like, okay, whatever. Whatever they're going to do, I don't know. I'm sure they have many different ideas in mind. Everyone's aware of it. And, it's just one of those things. You can be like Cena did with Vince and just go look, it's like, yeah, everyone boos him and it sounds bad on TV and pay-per-view, but we go to the house shows and everyone cheers him. And the fact is he's selling so much merch, so we don't want to fuck with the merch sales, and he's doing all the charity stuff, which Cody is doing the same thing. It's like, do you really want to do all the charity stuff and then play heel on television. I mean, you can do it, but it's kind of, in some ways, it's kind of stupid, in the traditional babyface heel thing. So, but we're not, obviously times have changed. You can do that. But then you're, being like a fake heel. You're being a heel to be a heel, but everyone knows you're really a babyface. And that's just, okay, yes, I'm playing heel for you. I don't, I'm not, you can do it. I mean, you can do anything, but, it's just like it's just what it is. He's going to get booed and, by a percentage of people, and probably a lot more when they get out of Atlanta than he would be in Atlanta. That's for sure.
Hey, if you're a big fan of Wrestling Observer Radio, we got 12,000 episodes of all of our podcasts up at our website, WrestlingObserver.com. If you sign up today, you get access to every single one of them. The 12 to 18 new shows that we do every single week. You can podcast them, listen to them on the road, at work, working out, in the shower, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And also full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter and archives. So if you love what you hear, head to WrestlingObserver.com. 12,000 audio shows at your fingertips.